Hey, Peter Lisoskie here. Peter Lisoskie is a sales expert. He's also the brains behind the Croc Brain selling formula, which we'll introduce to you at a later date. But he joins us here in the program. What's up, Neil? Good to have you in studio.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to be here, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Peter, I just called him Neil.
Yeah.
And I called, and by the way, I
everyone
just
can
called
call me whatever
Neil,
you want. It's all right.
I called Neil Brent before.
Brent was, it's a wheel of names here.
You know, these guys are giving me all these pieces of paper here.
Hey, look.
They used to just hand me, they hand me like a stick with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Sandy.
Yeah.
Peter Lisoskie. Peter, tell us about tell us about yourself and tell us what your expertise is, because I've read all about the Croc Brain selling formula, but I don't think a lot of people understand what it is. I know Russ doesn't.
I don't.
Talk to us.
Sure. Croc Brain selling formula is based on neuroscience, and I have a background in product development and all kinds of stuff like that. Everything from Nike to bioscience, biotech, and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So what happened was, I was telling a story out there about 6 years ago. I was working on a bioscience product, doing a consulting gig, and you know, we did things with these companies where I'd bring them in from CEO on down. We'd have all the scientists there, and we'd take it to market. Well, so these couple of these guys were sitting in the back of the room, and we were talking about focus groups. You guys know about that, where you spend all kinds of money to determine.
Well, wait, let's talk about that, because maybe our audience doesn't know that. So, isn't a focus group sort of you take the target audience and cram them in a room with a bunch of bad food every 4 hours and make them talk about their experience of product? Is that sort of how that works?
That's how it is, and you spend a lot of money doing it.
Now, wait a second though. There's also a focus group that actually, maybe I'm confusing this, but isn't a focus group where they kind of talk about the stuff that the product developer or the service developer wants to talk about? But is there another group that they get some sort of a benign thing? Don't they compare like a blind? There's like a blind group, a focus pill.
There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, sugar pill. That's it.
Yeah. There's split. You're talking about the placebo effect.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. So we used to spend a lot of money. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this stuff in different companies I worked for. And you guys know, I mean, the success rate of products is not all that great. And this was always really bothering me, because I used to run divisions and things like that. So these guys were in the back of this room, and when I was talking about focus groups, customer visits, they were kind of had this smirk on their face. So I went over on the coffee break. I said, you know, why are you smirking?
So funny.
Come to find out, there were a couple of neuroscientists, and they said, you know, I want to tell you that these focus groups don't work, and the way we have thought we should sell with lead with benefits and follow up the features is all wrong. And I went, really?
Well, guess what? This is how you do it. This is how you. Let me tell you how you use neuroscience in radio and television. Now they're going. What the hell? What's going to work?
Oh, God.
Peter's going to tell you in a second what's going to work.
This is heavy, man.
No, it's not that heavy. This is you know, sales psychology is nothing new. Go to crocbrain.com. In the meantime, Peter's going to be back with me in just a couple of seconds here. Can I tell you what? We're going to talk about fear and greed when we come back.
Yeah, there we go.
Peter Lisoskie is a sales expert. He's an entrepreneurial executive. He's a radio guy. He's a TV guy. He's an author. He's a speaker. He's a hell of a chef, I understand.
And he's a local soon.
But hey, so what is this Croc Brain thing? Am I thinking like crocodile brain?
Yeah. And
what?
Yeah. It's actually, that's why they call it the Croc Brain, because it's at the base of your skull. That part of your brain is like a crocodile brain. And there's actually three parts of your brain in a simplistic sense. There's a croc brain, there's the limbic system, and then up at the top there's this cortex, right? Okay. So cortex is all the rational thinking, all your data logic, all the stuff you guys do in the stock market, that's all your cortex. Okay. Then you got the limbic system, which is all the emotion and the memories and all that kind of stuff. The croc brain is about survival. It's fight, flight, reproduction, all that kind of all that good stuff we like to do as guys, right?
Yeah, sure.
But that is your main sales filter. And if you don't get past the
sales filter.
Yes.
So that's the BS detector.
That's the BS detector, the skepticism.
The BS detector. Is that fight or flight? Is that the same deal?
That's the same thing.
So in the book I'm working on, I've talked about this for 20 years, is that the market runs on two emotions, fear and greed. Yeah. And we lament our losses 3 times more than we celebrate our gains. This has got to be very similar.
It's exactly the same, Sully. Exactly.
Because I mean, if you look at investing, pendulum swings too far in one direction, and you have this despondence at the very, and then capitulation as a start, and then all of a sudden, as the market goes up, there's some hope, and then the fog clears, and I'm the smartest guy in the room, and oh my God, how long can I stay up here? Oh my goodness, it's going to start going down again. Yep. And that's all the fear and greed happening. Is that sort of the same thing with sales?
Yeah, you're firing off the croc brain like crazy all the time.
What were we looking at? What were people trying to? What part of the brain were we trying to get at to sell?
Well, so
like with the focus groups, for example.
Yeah, so focus groups, and that's a great question. So the key thing is first you got to get past that croc brain, that sales filter, that really is that skepticism, the BS filter.
Yeah.
So it's based on what you say. So there's some elements of what you say. It cannot cause any kind of fear It cannot be rejection. It has to be rejection proof.
I better write this down.
But we teach this, by the way, all of this kind of stuff. But the magic happens. You get past that croc brain, and you now are entered into the gateway into the limbic system, which is there's a thing in there you can look up. It's called the reward circuit. Now this is where all of the stuff happens. I call it the buying brain, because in the limbic system, what happens is, based on what you're saying, is you can trigger certain responses that trigger things like dopamine dumps. You guys about the feel-good elixirs, right?
Sure. Nice.
So this there's a lot of complexity to it, but from a sales sense, if you're saying the right kind of things, you can trigger a dopamine dump, or you can trigger a glutamate dump, which is the pain versus pleasure.
No.
Yeah, we don't want to do that, right?
Hey, a couple words that make me happy.
Yeah, okay. So
That was within your sales pitch.
how about sex and you?
Beneficial sex.
Wow.
Yeah,
You can use it to sell anything.
yeah. There you go.
This could be a singles thing.
Well,
You should write a dating book as
I know.
well.
Well, I'll get to that. So, but the key thing is the croc brain is really all important because it trumps all the other two brains. It is the most powerful in your. We're still we're still animals at heart. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But that's the thing. And then in the limbic system with the reward circuit, now this is, like I said, where the magic goes, where you can stimulate and kind of, as I say, grease the skids for buying responses. You can't make a person buy. No one. Yeah, but we know now with this neuroscience technology, this is based on what's called EEG and fMRI.
Whoa.
And these, I know
Careful.
these are they're big terms, but it's based on EEG is like the swimmer's cap they put on your head, and it measures the synaptic between the neurons. fMRI measures the oxygenated blood flow. So through all of this
it
research,
tells you what part of your brain's working.
yeah, it tells you
Gotcha.
what part of your brain's working, and that's what we've learned over the last decade, and we're now applying it to selling. And that was my big aha.
We have, in fact, Russ had one of those done, and we have the audio from that when they were doing the.
Yeah, there you go.
And then there was a. Oh. And then there was
Broke something.
Okay. Yeah. That was it was very telling. From what you
Very
said.
telling, and I can be sold easily.
Yeah.
Are you really? You are not. You're a skeptic.
all the way?
You're completely
If
a
I don't
skeptic.
need it, you're not going to tell me. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
Hey, very quickly, just I don't want to forget, and I'll say this a few times. You can go to bigbizshow.com, and there's the Big Biz clip of the day, in which we're going to feature Peter Lisoskie on there, and then there will be a link next to that. So I don't want you to try to remember the link because you're never going to remember it. But we'll put a link there, and what's that link going to take us to?
The link, Sully, will take you. We're going to do a 60-minute webinar. I'm really going to dig into this for people who are interested in sales, or if you're a solo entrepreneur, small business owner. You really need to understand how to utilize these tools now.
Right.
And I'll tell you guys, just so you know, I mean, you look at big companies out there right now, the big corporate giants, they either are using neuroscientists on staff or they have consultants they're working with, because this whole inner mind game thing is the next frontier.
So what do you? So there's an ethical question that's going to come up here, and I'm sure because there are those the wussification purveyors in this country that are going to say that you are using unfair. And I just came up with, I haven't given this much thought, but I'm assuming that there's going to be people that are going to say, "Oh, this is not fair. You're unfairly manipulating the buyer."
yeah.
Isn't that what advertising's been doing forever and ever and ever? A Hallmark commercial makes you cry, and then you go buy a Hallmark card.
There's a lot of subliminal stuff out there, but I'll tell you what: like you said, if a person doesn't want to buy, they're not going to buy. Right. All I'm saying is you are enabling the best environment to make that happen.
Okay, so you're trimming the sales. Is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So you're not taking advantage of
I'm not a
people.
puppet master.
Democrat.
I can't hypnonize you and take over your mind and make you buy.
What about things like colors and smells and stuff? When you come into a store and you want to buy something, does the fact that the walls are green and it smells like olives around here that I just want to buy?
No, it's very true. The olfactory actually is one of the most powerful ways to stimulate
What part is that
selling.
called?
Olfactory.
You're smelling.
Okay.
That's
Russ
one of
is
the
a
most
golden
powerful.
retriever
of
the sales
talk,
force.
it would say, hey,
Peter, thank you so much. Can we let's throw the website up there, guys, and we'll do. I like that. Let's have you come back on a regular basis and have you do a series with us on
I'd love to
sales.
talk
and
about it. Yeah.
and there's Peter Lisoskie, master storyteller, presenter on the on the Croc Brain. You'll see that link at the Big Biz Show link.
when's the webinar?
Webinar's coming up November 24th. This
I
coming
got
Monday.
time
Soon.
to
Yeah,
have
it's
a
got
I
beer.
promise you,
countdown.
there'll be more than one. We're going to replay this damn webinar. We're going to do the first time,
Wonder if
and then we're
alcohol
going
affects it,
to
too.
have like charge for it.
Would I be more apt to buy something if I had a shot of tequila before I went in the store?
I think you would.
Oh, we'll talk all about the tequila aspect to this too as well.
There's the tequila factor.
Tequila factor.
Russ did the forward on that book. Thank you, Peter.